And they collect 4,500 kilograms of wet waste every single day. Now, that would be...
This campaign and that one is the...
is the OTQ going to work? In that case, you go to the right.
come together.
No, it's the wrong place. Go up to the top.
I do notice a lot of it. I don't know if you notice, you must be traveling a lot more than I do. A lot of the cities are suddenly beginning. Yeah, you're right.
Chitra ji, your thing was started 2013, no? Yeah, please. The Swachh Abhiyan is one of the most successful campaigns that the government actually runs. And Amit ji, you were saying just a short while back how you're starting to see the impact of the Swachh Abhiyan in many places that you're seeing. Anecdotally, you can see the impact happening.
I don't know whether it's being observed by others or not, but I just felt that every time I'm traveling to either within Mumbai or parts of Mumbai which are traditionally known to be very filthy and dirty, suddenly looking a lot cleaner. And many of the cities that I visit, and you must be visiting them a lot more than I do, I just find that there is a general cleanliness about the place. People are more conscious, the streets, the roads are looking a lot cleaner, and I hope this continues.
No, absolutely. And because there's still a long way to go. Maharashtra, I think, is a little ahead of some of the other states and the cities. So, let's hope it rolls out. Now, we are here at the Vijayanagar Society in Andheri East in Mumbai. We've just visited a few homes to see how they are following the two bin, one bag policy. We have a large crowd right here, residents of the society, and you need the applause. Quite frankly, Amit ji, I think you will agree that आप लोगों ने जो यहाँ करके दिखाया है पूरे देश के लिए एक मिसाल है. I think Amit ji, you would agree with that.
बिल्कुल, ये एक बहुत बड़ा उदाहरण है आप लोगों ने यहाँ कायम किया है. और मैं चाहूँगा कि आज के इस कार्यक्रम के बाद जितने लोग इस कार्यक्रम को देखेंगे वो पहचानेंगे कि आप लोगों ने एक सोसाइटी की तरफ से कितना नेक काम किया है, न केवल इस अभियान के लिए, देश के लिए, अपने सोसाइटी के लिए. और मैं ऐसा मानता हूँ कि अगर ये उदाहरण जो है जगह जगह फैलाया जाएगा तो मैं चाहूँगा कि और भी सोसाइटी जो है वो आपके उदाहरण को देख करके उसी तरह काम करें जिस तरह से आप काम कर रहे हैं. बहुत बधाई आप सब लोगों को एक बार.
All right, now we have a panel of experts who are now going to be joining us to help us understand what we can do with waste management. Now, if you actually look at it, and if you take a look at the ways you can deal with the growing mountain of filth, the best way to do it is to separate. So you can recycle, you can reuse, and you can compost. Now, according to the Central Pollution Control Board, out of the 70% total solid waste collected in the country, only 12% is actually treated. The rest just goes into landfills. Today on our panel, we have some of the biggest experts in this area. Swachh Sambyal from the Center for Science and Environment, who's co-authored a book, Not in My Backyard. Thank you so much for being with us. We have Manisha Maiskar, who's, we can just see that. Manisha Maiskar is Principal Secretary, Urban Development at Maharashtra. Pinaki Mishra from Ernst & Young. Paul Seong from USAID. Great to have you with us as well. Also, Chitra Hiramat from Garbage Free India is with us as well, who's done a lot of work in this area. Before I come to all of you, let me just get your take, Nitish, on the problem of waste management. Why is it that this is something which you think should be one of the focus areas? Because we've been talking a lot about toilets and about that and open defecation as one of the main streams of Banega Swachh India. Waste management, though, also important.
I think this is where it starts, right? I mean, basically, you will never have a Swachh Bharat unless everyone is making sure that whatever it is that they are responsible in terms of managing their waste are not fully engaged. And I think that basically, over a period of time, there is only so much in terms of generating awareness. When the rubber hits the road, it's the people that have to take the responsibility to say that I'm making sure that whatever it is that I can influence, I'm doing in a manner that there is no waste. And I think today what we've seen is a fantastic illustration of people really taking that responsibility on a large scale with very little investment we saw, but making a massive impact.
Right. Swati, if I can get you in on that point. So you've written this book, and I'm sure Amit ji also has questions for you. You've written this book, Not in My Backyard, Solid Waste Management in Indian Cities. How big is the problem and how can it be, I'm sure it can be solved if we all set our minds to it.
Well, of course, in our studies, the problem is really enormous. As you said, of the 62 metric tons per year that is generated in our country, 70% is collected and only 10% is treated. So, of course, the momentum has picked up, but then there's really a long way to go in it. But I'm glad that people have started taking initiatives, cooperators have started taking initiatives. There are success stories from nooks and corners of the country. So, of course, that is really picked up. But, of course, it's a huge issue, and we all have to join hands in it. It's not one person's job to solve it.
Right.
I just like the title of your book. And
yes.
I want to ask you why you chose that kind of language.
This comes
because
from...
I'm sure it goes a long way in,
yes.
in covering the,
yes.
the main idea of the campaign.
I think the entire issue with waste management is about not in my backyard. If I throw something at your doorstep, you know, you'll be like, not in my backyard. And probably that has led to a gargantuan problem. We all don't want waste in my backyards, but we forget to, you know, realize the fact that our backyard is someone's front yard. So that's why not in my backyard anymore.
Yeah. And I think, Vikram, this is one of the most important, well, philosophical or psychological kind of training that we all need to understand.
Yes.
I can clean up my place and throw it in somebody else's front yard or backyard
Yes.
and not bother about it. But how wonderful if you could not only just look after the place that is in front of us, yes. but also in front of somebody else,
yes.
and set an example,
Yes.
even if they're not following it.
Yes.
And therefore this whole, you know, thinking that, oh, मेरी जगह साफ रहे, दूसरे के गंदा रहे, मुझे उसकी कोई परवाह नहीं है. I think that we have to get out of that
yes.
kind of thinking.
Yes.
Right.
And if we can also volunteer to just go across and clean up somebody else's mess,
Yes.
it would set a very good example. And I'm sure that in time to come, that person would also learn that, you know, somebody else is doing my work. I need to get down and start doing it myself.
Exactly.
Right. Manisha ji, ये जो अमित जी कह रहे थे कि अपना ही साफ करना, that's only part of the problem. You got to make sure that you spread the thing elsewhere. The issue of solid waste piling up, to what extent is that, to your mind, one of the serious issues? Because one thing which is linked with that also is plastic. Plastic and plastic waste is one of the biggest environmental hazards that we see, and it leads to so many other impacts as well.
I think when Modi ji dreamt of a Swachh Bharat on the Red Fort, he was probably voicing the aspiration of every single Indian. And therefore, we see a lot of people's commitment to Swachh Bharat. I think Vijayanagar is a very outstanding example. So far as Maharashtra is concerned, we are completely committed to it. And what, sir, you said, we are now requesting societies such as Vijayanagar to be ambassadors and pioneers and take the message elsewhere.
Okay.
The 250 odd towns that we have in Maharashtra, we propose to start this campaign across all towns from 1st of May, which also happens to be Maharashtra Divas for us.
As we were discussing just to add, we were discussing a little while earlier that if they're going to be ambassadors and going to be examples, maybe they need some kind of an incentive as well.
Absolutely, sir.
Yeah.
Both their points of a concession in property tax an arrangement by which bids are made, I will straight away go back and convey it to my Chief Minister, and I'm sure a decision would have been taken in the next 4 weeks.
Hopefully Fadnavis Saab is watching this program. So Fadnavis Saab, ये सुझाव है इनके तरफ से, आप सोच लीजिए, इस पे विचार कर लीजिए और शायद फैसला आप जल्दी सुना पाएंगे इन मामलों पर. I just wanted to ask you also about the problem of garbage. आपको क्या लगता है कि ये जो problem कितनी बड़ी समस्या है और क्या किया जा सकता है?
Should I answer in Hindi?
Hindi, English, जो भी.
See, what we found, जब हमने 2013 में ये शुरू किया, it actually started in Calcutta because it was just started by some citizens who just felt very strongly about what was happening in terms of the garbage that was piling up every nook and corner. Actually, we feel that the problem has been twofold, and what we've understood is, one is at the micro level, which is there's a lack of involvement of individuals, and there's a lack of knowledge from those people who do want to do something but are not sure as to how they can really responsibly dispose of their waste. On the other hand, at the macro level, we have landfills which are unable to take the load. We have a lot of garbage being generated. Almost 9,000 tons is just generated in Bombay city itself. And it's a very unscientific method of disposing of. So we really are looking at empowering individuals, societies, and when we visited Vijayanagar 2 years ago, we have used them as a model to inspire a lot of other communities, and our initiative is basically to empower every Indian to become waste empowered and to look at this as his own personal responsibility rather than look at the government or the municipal corporation or XYZ individual who can really address this issue. So that is what Garbage Free India's mission is, and we hope to see India a waste empowered nation in the coming years. And to release the wealth which is there, which is 70% of our waste, which is going is wet waste, which is completely biodegradable.
All right, I'm going to take a break right now, but lots of schools also taking part, and there's lots of people outside. When we return after the break, I think we can go across, and there are lots of young children and young kids who are really been, I think, the heart and the soul of any of the campaigns.
Absolutely,
doing. So they're waiting to talk to us, so we'll do that when we come back just after this break. No, but let's go back. Where are you going back up? Go back up. Go up, go up. Go. Stop. Waste segregation, but Amitji, schools, when they start taking the initiative, schools, young people, that's when change really happens. And we've seen this in so many of the campaigns that we've been doing.
Absolutely. I do think that the whole initiative that is coming from schools, from the younger generation, is very important for any such campaign. Children are the soul of every family, and what they do, what they practice is a great inspiration for the elders. And when they meet in their classrooms, they talk to each other, they convey what they did, they do their homework, they play games, but they also talk about what they did regarding Swachh Bharat, and it kind of infiltrates into the rest of the society. Right. And people like to obey what the kid says, particularly elders and parents. They want to either encourage them or they want to follow what they want to do. And that, I think, is a wonderful initiative. So we've had many, today in the program, we have many schools that we've gone to.
Absolutely. So in fact, the Center for Science and Environment has a Green Schools program that rates the green performance of schools from across India. Students audit the consumption of resources within their school premises and find ways to reduce the wastage of precious resources. More than 1,000 schools have participated in this program over the last 2 years, and based on green report cards have found ways of being more resource efficient. The top 20 ranked green schools in India, the Shriram School at Aravali in Gurgaon, which has, of course, the Shriram schools have been pledging 5,000 work hours, you will remember, during the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, and doing a lot of other work. Pooja Talwar is there. Pooja, what is it that the students there are wanting to do towards waste management, and how do they retain their position as a green school?
Good morning, Vikram. Good morning, Mr. Bachchan. Well, the students and especially the Environment Club is very, very enterprising. Behind me is an experiment underway where they're planning to construct a bench out of bottles. And then I also have the senior members of the Environment Club here with me. Madhav, the school has started a Tetra Pak initiative. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Right. So around 2 years ago, we started something called the Tetra Pak initiative, which is basically where students recycle Tetra Paks. But this year, to further engage and encourage the students, what we're trying to do is take an indirect approach towards the environment. What I've learned is a lot of students, turn off when they hear the words like global warming or environment. They don't find it very interesting. So we're going to try taking an indirect approach, which is basically we're going to have a table, which is going to have a wash basin, scissors, and 2 separate dustbins where students will actually vote with their Tetra Paks. So basically we'll have something like a dustbin with Messi and a dustbin with Ronaldo. So students can engage in an indirect approach to the environment. And I feel like most of the environment problems that we do face is because of the mentality us Indians have. And what we're trying to do over here is to make some like a thought-provoking, engaging activity, so the students can actually change their mentality and build our life towards a more healthier and sustainable environment.
So how far have you been successful?
So we just started off where we're on the way to basically building the 2 bins and having Messi, Ronaldo, and we're trying to make it look very aesthetically appealing. So right now we're just with the beginning process of that, and this year we hope to have a lot of progress on that.
Right. Pooja, I think
And
Amit
also, we have a composting unit there. Ojasvi is going to tell us a bit about that initiative in the school.
Okay, so food wastage is a huge problem in India especially, where a large population does not get the 2 meals per day, and those who are privileged enough to get it, they waste it. We have a lunch hall in our school, and approximately 100 kgs of food is wasted per day. We have a composting pit, however, here.
Yeah, let's go there and take a look.
So we have horticultural waste, which is leaves, dried up leaves, and food scraps. So the primary food scraps, which is vegetable peels, and the basic primary foods that are required to make the further product. We take them, and these are the composting pits. We put them here along with calcium oxide. We allow them to stay here for 25 days, and after those 25 days, we put them out on the sun, in the sun, for 5 days to form khad. So an approximate 200 to 300 kgs of khad is produced per month. And I think that's a huge thing for the school.
It's awesome. And as they say, start them young. We have 2 young members of the Junior Environment Club here with me. So tell me a bit about how you're going to celebrate Earth Day, which is on the 22nd, right?
We're going to celebrate Earth Day by our event Shridhara and our in
society.
Yeah, Pooja, I just want to first of all compliment these children for the way they speak about environment and how knowledgeable they are about what environment means and what the atmosphere means, and how wonderful to hear them speak such professional language. I mean, you know, to form a club which is called an environmental club is very unique. When I was in school, we used to have the cricket club or a dramatic club, but we never had these kind of thinking to have an environmental club, and really want to compliment them. What I would like to know is what initiated them to think like this? Who was it that actually taught them to do this? And did they go through some kind of training or what?
Yeah, about the school initiative. Asked you a question about the school initiative.
Okay. So a couple of school initiatives we're going to start off with this year. So one of them is called the basketball bin project, where in a lot of classes students crumple paper and chuck. So that's one of our activities. Then the other thing, like Ojasvi just talked about, food wastage. We're trying to reduce food wastage, so we've put up a lot of posters in the lunch hall, we try to engage the students through their emotional sense and get them to understand the problems that we're actually facing in society when it comes to the food wastage. So what we're going to try to do is, have in our assemblies, we're going to talk to the students on a regular basis about how we can take a part and reduce the food wastage that does happen here in India and help contribute to the people who need the food.
Right. Right, Pooja, thank you so much.
Over to you, Vikram and Mr. Bachchan.
Right, Pooja, thank you so much for joining us. Amitji.
Yeah, thank you so much, and really wonderful thinking on the part of these students. I mean, just to associate sports with something like environment is so unique because, yes, all of us, are so interested in sports, but to combine that with the process of wanting to change the environment is a wonderful thought. We all do it all the time. We, as he rightly said, we want to throw the garbage as though we're putting the ball into a basketball net. And how wonderful to be able to join that with this campaign and, make it work and make it more friendly in a sense to be able to operate this whole operation in a very informal manner. But actually you're doing a lot of great work.
अमित जी, पर यही संदेश शायद आप बाकी पाठशालों में भी कहना चाहेंगे, क्योंकि हर एक पाठशाला पूरे देश में किसी न किसी तरह पर्यावरण के बारे में सोच सकते हैं.
सबको सोचना चाहिए, और जैसा कि मैं अभी कहता रहा हूँ, यहाँ की जो हाउसिंग सोसाइटी, विजयनगर हाउसिंग सोसाइटी एक बहुत अच्छा एक उदाहरण बन गया है. इसी तरह अगर हम किसी एक स्कूल को लेकर के उसे उदाहरण बना दें और दूसरों को उनको प्रेरणा देने के लिए, उनको इंस्पायर करने के लिए उनकी बातों को बाकी स्कूलों में भी पहुँचाएँ, तो मुझे उम्मीद है कि बाकी स्कूल जो हैं वो भी इनको सुनेंगे. दे विल गेट इंस्पायर्ड बाय इट एंड वांट टू कॉपी देम. आई वुड ऑल्सो wonder if we can have some kind of a competition between housing societies. You compete with another housing society. Our society is cleaner than yours, and you have an award for it. So everybody gets more involved and interested in winning that competition. So you make it look like a sports initiative, but actually they're working for the environment.
We are, sir. We actually have a competition going on for our urban local bodies, the councils and the corporations, but this is a great idea.
Yeah.
We will also have this on board, and we will have like I said, I'm going to go back to my chief minister with all these ideas, but I feel confident that very soon we will have a competition wherein the awards are given by the state government for the best zero waste society.
Yeah.
And we just started a competition for schools also where they can work on some
Absolutely,
of these areas.
yeah.
So that's always a great idea. Paul, if I can just get you in on your thoughts on what can be done, solid waste management in particular, and then I'm going to come to some other schools and societies in other parts of the country. We are right beneath the flight path, but okay, why don't you carry on?
Yeah, sure, I'm happy to give my input. I think a lot has been said already. I feel like the outcome is essential, but also the process and the approach by which we get there. And so just as we've seen today, a bottoms-up approach, a community-led group approach of getting all the self-help groups involved, a ward-by-ward approach of really ensuring that the behavior change is happening, the mindsets are being changed in the people, and systematically addressing waste management. It's a huge issue, but I think if we bring together the collective whole, I think we can really make a difference. I think the private sector has a big part to play. We've seen interesting initiatives around CSR marketplaces. You know, it's not about just the brand of a company, but it's about sustainability. It's about monitoring and evaluating, a constant cycle of ensuring that these changes are being made on the ground. And so I think it's a holistic approach.
Yeah, he talked about the private sector getting involved, and we have a wonderful example of the company Mahindra's, who have put up this the Mahindra World City. Yeah. Vikram, would you just like to introduce?
If we can, let's go across to the Mahindra World City. One of the
this
first.
Is in Chennai, and they've actually integrated business with you know, waste segregation and other things, and really done a lot of work where they have recycled. They are now almost garbage-free, food wastage-free city. That's fantastic.
Right. Can we just go across there to the Mahindra World City in Chennai? And it's not, we'll just go across to that in a couple of minutes as soon as that's ready. While we wait for that to happen, talking about competitions, you and Ernst & Young and others have been working together with RB on a hygiene index, which essentially also creates a certain amount of competition between cities to see which of them is the most hygienic and the clean. Right. How is that working out, and what are the lessons you're finding in what cities can do to compete with each other?
Yeah, before you say that, just wait for the air.
Wait separately for the
I did have a look at the statistics that were prepared, and I found that, you know, New Delhi and Pune are right ahead. Right. And I felt somewhat sad that Mumbai was nowhere there in the thing. I think this is the kind of thing that inspires people to work harder in each city. So if you are going to be preparing these statistics, you know, Vikram, I think that they should be let out into the public and say, yeah, Delhi is doing better than Mumbai. You know, what are you doing to get up there?
Don't just compete in the IPL, don't just compete in the Kabaddi League, start competing in hygiene.
Yes. Exactly. So I think, I mean, this is a great initiative, which is a public-private initiative with RB, USAID, EY and NDTV. And when we started the initiative, we realized two things. One is that if we don't measure, we really don't know where we stand. So first example is everybody wants to be Swachh, everybody wants to do a good thing. Intentions are good, we have funding, but we really don't know what to do and where we stand. So the first, what HI did is it looked at all the factors necessary to go up to a certain ranking. And the second thing is what Amitji you said about competition. At the end of the day, in a race, you imagine if a person runs alone, I am sure he will or she will run 30% slower than if there are 10 other people running along. I think that's the philosophy, that measure everything that you know, we need to do to improve, and then also get some kind of a competition. At the end, you're right. I mean, I was also sad that Mumbai is not there, though I would say Mumbai is a little bit tougher maybe, but at the same time, why not? I mean,
okay. If I could just spend 5 minutes in looking at the extent of the problem when it comes to solid waste, and I want to get all of our experts in on this question. Is it at this point a crisis? We all knew that open defecation was like a crisis because a large part of the country was practicing open defecation. Waste and solid waste lying around is not sometimes seen as a crisis of the same magnitude, although it could be. With 1 lakh tons of solid waste piling up, on a daily basis, it is going to become a crisis. Landfills are being filled up. You're seeing plastic lying everywhere. We have Gau Rakshaks get so agitated about every time there's a case of a cow being killed, and that they should be agitated. But if you think of the number of cows who die agonizing deaths every single day by eating plastic waste from garbage, it is something that should be causing a lot of us distress. So I just wanted to ask each of you, how serious is the problem and how massive is it? How will it run out of control? Amitji, let me get your thoughts first on this.
One of the things that we did as a campaign, we talked about it. I did many campaigns towards open defecation. I hope that they've been, at least seen and visualized, and hope to be successful. But again, we can keep doing any number of campaigns, but I think somewhere there has to be a personal contact with people, communities talking, and I keep coming back to this society and keep complimenting them, because you have no idea what a wonderful example you're setting for the rest of the country. And when collectively we think towards one single aim, then we are going to be able to achieve something. So if it's something like solid waste, we need to not just educate them through campaigns, but I think individually, psychologically,
reach out and
we need to keep talking to them.
And one of the ways of doing that is, I think, to also let people know the extent of the problem. It is a serious issue.
Oh, yes.
It is a serious issue.
So if there's been a cleanliness drive, for example, and you've cleaned up a street, I think it's not only the responsibility of the agencies to clean up the street, but the people who live on the street to make sure that it remains clean. And when they see somebody, messing it up, they should go personally and stop him or prevent him from doing it, and not wait for any government agency or organization to come and clean it up or build up a campaign. Some kind of personal interaction has to happen. Psychologically, as one of the students rightly said, and I'm quite amazed that he thought about it, that our basic nature is, to collect garbage and not worry about the neighbor or whatever it is. Things like global warming and environmental activities are words that don't affect us. Well, why not? I mean, I think when you hear a student talking like that, you want to get inspired by that.
Okay. I am going to come back to all the experts, but before that, if you can just go across to the Mahindra World City in Chennai, one of the first cities where actually waste segregation is practiced in every residential project. Red, green, blue bins are used to collect different types of waste. If I can just come across and ask, what is the steps that are being taken out here and how they're being rolled out successfully all through the city?
And to have a food waste-free city, the kind of activities that your city is doing, it's quite remarkable. And one of the reasons why we're talking to you today is, of course, to be able to propagate what you're doing to the rest of the country, and to have several other examples like yourself all over the country. Thank you so much. How did you actually decide to do what you want to do? I know that collecting wastewater and recycling it for usage again is also being practiced here where we are at the Housing Society. But how did you get this idea? Did someone come and educate you about it? Did you just pick it up on your own? How?
क्या है और लोगों को इसके लिए क्या करना चाहिए?
मुझे ऐसा लगा था कि जहां हम रहते हैं, अगर 10 गज के दायरे में उसे हम स्वयं साफ रखें, जितने भी लोग शहर में रहते हैं, जहां भी रहते हैं, वो अगर अपने दायरे को 10 गज साफ रखें, इस तरह पूरा शहर जो है वो साफ दिखने लगेगा। तो मैं एक बार फिर आग्रह करूंगा कि जहां कहीं भी आप रहते हों, आसपास के वातावरण में जहां कहीं भी हों आप, जहां आप रहते हैं, जिस घर में रहते हैं, जिस अपार्टमेंट में रहते हैं, 10 गज ज़मीन अगर आपके आसपास, उसे आप साफ़ कर रखें, तो आप ही की तरह और लोग भी इसे अगर साफ़ रहेंगे तो पूरा जो शहर है वो एकदम साफ़ दिखने लगेगा। यही मेरा आग्रह है और यही मेरा एक बार फिर निमंत्रण है आप सब लोगों को कि इस तरह कीजिए ताकि हम आप लोगों के बारे में ऐसे कार्यक्रमों में बात कर सकें और उदाहरण दे सकें बाकी देश के लिए।
Right, those positive examples are absolutely important, and that's why we're going to highlight them. There are people who've done fantastic work, whether it is some of the schools we are seeing, whether it's the housing society that we are in. These are the examples everyone needs to learn from. And if you start saying, Mere 10 gaz, worry about that, we'll be able to roll this forward much more. Let's take a quick break. 2 or 3 other than positive examples, and we return after this break.
Banega Swachh India campaign, as you all know, we've been here since morning at this wonderful society, Vijayanagar Society in Mumbai, and complimenting the wonderful work that they've been doing for the environment. We've also discussed here through this panel the kind of interest that children are taking in working towards this very noble cause. And we'd now like to go to another school. We've been to a couple of schools before this. We now want to go to school in Bangalore. This is a Vidyalaya that has enrolled in Green Schools Program Audit 2016 and has been awarded as the best waste manager in the waste management category by the Center for Science and Environment. So can we just go across to the Kendriya Vidyalaya Rail Wheel Factory. This is in Yelahanka in Bengaluru. Our colleague Harish is there joining us, and I hope that we can connect to him as soon as possible.
Absolutely, they've been given as the best manager, best waste manager, and nothing really goes out of this campus here in terms of no waste goes to the municipal managed here. It's within the campus itself, and let's remember Bengaluru has been suffering bad waste management issue for the past 7 years. And these children behind me are hope the city actually change how it manages its garbage. But fantastic work here. What are some of the salient features you think is really making Kendriya here in Yelahanka stand up?
The first thing, paper waste from our school.
It's a huge problem, but I still want to insist that we need to start training and teaching them at a very young age. So even in their educational curriculums, if they can have a period on civics and be taught what civic sense means to a country, to a city, to a society, I think that eventually is taken forward in the days to come. Inculcate that kind of training and thinking at a very, very young age, so that by the time you see others, being involved in open defecation, you have the ability to stop them, and you have the process of trying to explain to them the problems that happen because of this and what they can do with it. Okay. So I would suggest that, yes, as a school curriculum, they should have a civic class where these things are taught along with their maths, physics and chemistry.
Right. That's certainly something which I think people will be...
करेंगे कैसे इसको avoid करेंगे, कैसे इसका समाधान होगा. लेकिन कहीं न कहीं हमें उसके बेस में भी जाने की आवश्यकता है. क्यों ऐसा हो रहा है? और मैं ऐसा मानता हूँ कि जब तक हम अनुशासित नहीं होंगे, डिसिप्लिन नहीं होंगे, ये चीज़ बढ़ती चली जाएगी. और हम और आप लोग यहाँ बैठ करके डिस्कस करते रहेंगे कि कितनी ये जो समस्या है ये बढ़ती चली जा रही है, or we will try to find ways and means of how to get rid of it. But I think we need to first start at the very base and bring in discipline amongst all of us, amongst all nationals, that by doing something wrong, you are creating a very big wrong. And that wrong is not going to get solved so easily. So let us discipline ourselves first. And this can start from elementary things, which side of the road you need to walk, whether you want to stop at the red light or not, where to cross on the proper zebra crossing. Very simple disciplinary actions which none of us unfortunately seem to follow. And we build this temperament that because it's a carefree kind of an attitude, we are carefree about the environment as well. So I think we need to inculcate some sense of discipline in us so that these problems don't arise. Yes, there are whole kinds of technologies now prevalent to take care of the problem. But what is being done to stop the creation of that problem?
Yeah. And so when it comes to solid waste management, the first question that many people are going to have is, what do we do about it? 4,500 kilograms of waste. Now, that would just be piling up and going into dumps. Actually, that entire garbage is being managed. We will continue to hear from people here. But while we are waiting for that, let me just ask Madhu also, who's here from the Pali Hills Residents Society. I believe you're also trying something similar.
Yes, sir. but in a little bit more elaborate manner.
That's really wonderful. I'm really impressed that somebody like you is taking part in this society, in this region where you live, and I hope that people can follow your example in other parts of other societies as well and other suburbs as well. That's what we need. We need inspirational people like you to come and talk about it and see how best it can be used, not just to dispose it off, but to reuse it for something more profitable, more gainful for the environment and for the society as well.
Right. Yes. And you know, it's so important to share the positive stories of what can actually be done, because sometimes, you know, people say news channels are only showing what's the terrible things that are happening and telling us about all the problems, but not actually showing any solutions. Yeah. Now, these are problems, yes. These are serious issues, yes. But there are solutions that can be found, and lots of individuals have found solutions to those. Those are the ones that we are highlighting. They are societies like yours and the one that we are in. There are schools. We are showing you some of that as well. There are solutions, and it's important to focus on that. Let's, for example, go across now to the Kolkata Shri Shri Academy, which is also doing great work in many of these areas. Saurabh Gupta joining us from there. Saurabh, what are the students?
Various parts of the country and schools talking about, so professionally about environment and waste management. Do they carry the same philosophy to their homes as well?
Biodegradable from the rest, then the municipalities can then separate the dry waste further.
Exactly. And we all take care of our own health, and we don't realize by doing this we are again injuring ourselves. I mean, just think of that.
Okay, let me get your final thoughts.
I agree with Mr. Bachchan's point that starts with education, starts with an attitude change, and then it translates into the action which is needed, because the technologies are there, everything is there, the support systems can be there, but it needs to be brought about by change in the individual attitude towards garbage and the general environment.
Okay. Let's just quickly touch on one last residential complex. This is in Gurugram Garden Estate, a very well-known housing complex out there, which has again shown how cleanliness can be achieved in a cost-effective manner with a well-designed system for house-to-house collection of solid waste. So Snigdha is out there. Snigdha, बताइए वहाँ क्या हो रहा है? Garden Estate में क्या-क्या काम किया जाता है? The obvious thing to learn from all of this is the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan is one of the most successful campaigns that this government is running, certainly in terms of public perception. It seems to have caught the imagination of people and is making a big change. A lot of the focus so far has been on solving open defecation, the building of toilets, and when that used to be the issue that many people were talking about, many individuals would say, what can we do about it? How do we make a difference? Now this cleaning up waste, helping the authorities and the municipalities, doing something about solid waste management is something that every individual one of us can help in. Our resident welfare associations can do it, schools can do it, individuals can do it, and then of course it is the responsibility of the government to take it forward. And of course the voice for the entire Banega Swachh India campaign, the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, is Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, and I have to say, you're lending your voice to this, you're lending your face to this campaign has really gone a very long way in making it as popular as it is. Would everyone agree with that here?
Yeah, thank you.
So who better to say a final word and also, sir, to encourage people on solid waste management than you? So I'm going to leave the final word to you.
Well, I'm just truly grateful that all of us have taken part in this program. And every season that we come here, we find a lot of initiatives done by people that are unknown. And it's wonderful to hear these lovely children talking so much about environment. उन सबको मेरी तरफ से बहुत-बहुत बधाई. और ये एक तरह से हमारे लिए एक प्रेरणा स्रोत बनता है. तो आज मैं चाहूँगा कि आज से और बल्कि अभी से हम सब ये प्रण लें कि अब केवल हम वादे नहीं बल्कि कर्म भी करेंगे और करते रहेंगे, ताकि आने वाले जो 2 अक्टूबर को हम गर्व से मनाएं राष्ट्रीय स्वच्छता दिवस. और इसके साथ जुड़ने के लिए मेरे जो 10 गज का अभियान है, इसके साथ मिलकर रखेंगे स्वच्छ भारत की नींव. और हमें बताइए, अपने जो विचार हैं उनसे बताइए कि आपने अपने 10 गज के लिए क्या किया. हमें आप लिखिए, ट्वीट कीजिए #मेरे 10 गज MERA10GUZ या लॉग ऑन करें ndtv.com/swachhindia और अपने 10 गज की कहानियाँ साझा करें. आने वाले राष्ट्रीय स्वच्छता दिवस पर हम दिखाएंगे आपके 10 गज की कहानी. इसलिए हमारे साथ आप जुटे रहिए, ये हम साथ आएंगे तभी बनेगा स्वच्छ इंडिया। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद विक्रम आपका, and to all of you here for being with us today. Thank you.
Thank you.
And to this wonderful society.
एक मिनट
ये मेरे लिए नहीं, ये मेरी पोती के लिए, आराध्या के लिए है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you. I just have to record the opening for. I'm going to run a version of this on Reality Check tonight at 9:30. So I'll just do the link for that if you all don't mind. No, shift it. Sir, so will somebody take Amit ji? Actually, I'll record. If you can just shift the backdrop, I'll do mine here.
Yeah, sure.
Will you please join us? Yes, this is for my keepsake. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, come. Yeah, we're going to do it again. Yes. Yeah.
I think we leave the societies में काम होगा.
Oh, okay.
This is happening in many more.
आप लोग सब इधर खड़े हो जाइए, आपके साथ हम एक सेल्फी लेंगे. Yeah. Who's going to take a photograph?
Sir, एक यहाँ से selfie लेते हैं.
Yeah. Who's taking the selfie? Everybody raise their hands. तुम भी लो. Yeah. Everybody. Hey. Everybody raise their hands. Thank you very much. नमस्कार, बस. ए, लिख नहीं रहा. Yeah.
So one, please. So please one.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
सर एक और देंगे. सर एक और
Thank you very much. Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'll just. Okay, Ruchira, if you can just take the details.
Thank you.
When we are doing the next.
We'll go now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you. Bye. Thank you. Yeah, sure. You want to do a selfie?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thanks very much. All the best to you. Thank you. Bye, Vikram. Thanks very much, as always. Yeah.
Right.